If one tunes into Singaporean television, they may encounter an array of seemingly unrelated words flashing on the screen, such as bullet head, sea mackerel, and water world. These unconventional word combinations serve as coded signals prompting reserve troops in Singapore to mobilize at army bases across the city. The occurrence might strike viewers as peculiar, particularly considering Singapore's status as a small, prosperous nation living harmoniously with its neighbors. Despite its modest size, Singapore, akin to New York City, has developed one of the region's most sophisticated militaries. Let's delve into the reasons behind the transformation of this island into one of the most heavily militarized locations on the planet. Singapore allocated over $11 billion to defense in 2022, elevating it to one of the world's top per capita spenders. By contrast, Turkey, a nation with a landmass 1,000 times larger than Singapore, invested only $10 billion in defense. Singapore stands out as possibly the most densely defended country globally, boasting a higher concentration of troops, tanks, warships, and aircraft per square kilometer than any other nation. Despite its economic ties with China, Singapore maintains robust defense relations with the U.S., procuring billions of dollars worth of American military equipment. Among these acquisitions is the F-35, a cutting-edge fighter jet. Singapore's order of 20 F-35 planes secures its position as the sole Southeast Asian nation authorized to operate these aircraft, thereby solidifying its air force as the most advanced in the region. The drive behind Singapore's pursuit of military superiority lies in its geographical location. Surrounded by larger neighbors and situated on the Strait of Malacca, Asia's primary shipping corridor and gateway to the South China Sea, Singapore recognizes the necessity of a robust defense. Singapore's founding prime minister famously likened the nation's military buildup to that of a poisonous shrimp, indicating the necessity of possessing a formidable military to deter potential aggressors. Singapore's substantial investment in defense has resulted in a military capacity surpassing that of many global powers. Its navy plans to expand its submarine fleet to 8 vessels, outnumbering those of Malaysia and Indonesia combined. Currently, Singapore boasts over 170 operational tanks, exceeding the count of the United Kingdom, the world's 6th largest defense spender. Additionally, all Singaporean men are mandated to serve 2 years of compulsory military service, ensuring a well-trained force. Singapore's vulnerability stems from its scarcity of resources, heavily relying on imports for essentials like water, food, and energy. The Singapore Strait serves as one of the busiest shipping lanes globally, marking Singapore's southern border. The central business district, where crucial decisions are made, lies in close proximity. In military terms, Singapore faces a lack of strategic depth, with little geographical distance between its borders and critical assets such as financial centers and government offices. With Singapore's northern border merely 28 kilometers away from its southernmost point, its armed forces possess limited maneuverability. Despite operating 4 air bases, Singapore's airspace constraints are evident, with pilots having scant seconds after takeoff before entering Malaysian airspace. This necessitates a strong offensive capability to deter aggression and, if needed, to take preemptive action. Singapore has sought to mitigate its strategic vulnerabilities by identifying civilian infrastructure for potential repurposing during conflicts. Notably, 2 main highways can be transformed into makeshift runways for jet fighters if military facilities are compromised. Regulations mandate personal bomb shelters in apartments built after 1997, while subway stations can be converted into emergency shelters. The government holds extensive powers to repurpose civilian infrastructure and requisition vehicles, ships, and aircraft during crises. An impending crisis looms large. In February, Singapore announced an increase in its defense budget amid fears of a potential U.S.-China conflict over Taiwan. The risk of regional or even global conflict within the next decade has escalated. Singapore endeavors to strike a delicate balance between the U.S. and China, conducting joint military exercises with both counterparts. Notably, the U.S. military enjoys access to Singapore's port and airbase for operations in the South China Sea, establishing the island as a pivotal hub for U.S. aircraft carriers. As a small, trade-dependent economy, Singapore would inevitably suffer from any fallout resulting from a Taiwan-China confrontation.